National spokesperson for Congress on Racial Equality and conservative commentator Niger Innis joins us for a reaction. Niger, what'd you think?
I thought it was spectacular. It was truly Trump's greatest hits, his Make America Great Again hits from the campaign. But the one difference is, of course, he has a platform of accomplishments that he's standing on. He's got a booming economy. He's got record low border crossings coming into the United States. He's got the beginnings of building a wall, a booming stock market, pensions going up, black ownership. By the way, that I didn't know. Black home ownership at an all-time high. And unlike the 90s and the early 2000s when it was built on a house of cards, if that's true, that's really substantial because, as we know, home ownership is the foundation for economic prosperity and growth. Hispanic unemployment at an all-time low. This was fabulous, and the only person happier, I think, than the president tonight and those happy folk in Pensacola, Florida, a good place, good friends of mine down there, has got to be a judge in neighboring Alabama, who I think is also very happy with the speech tonight. Because even though he didn't mention Judge Moore by name several times, he did frame the election and what the election is about next Tuesday. And I find it hard to believe that any loyal Alabamian Republican that believes in the issues that the president talked about tonight could possibly vote for Doug Jones, who, by the way, I happen to know and I think is a decent man. He just happens to be in the wrong political party right now.
Now, this is 9 miles away from Alabama. Mobile is certainly paying attention and probably airing parts, if not all, of the speech there. Is this the kind of thing that might motivate voters in favor of Roy Moore?
You know what, Greg? You hit the nail right on the head. There's no question about it. I mean, the greatest hits from this speech is taking power away from global bureaucrats and bringing it back to the American people. You know, with this tax cut and remuneration, bringing back monies that corporations have overseas because of our prohibitive corporate tax rate, bringing it back into the United States, you know, to the tune of trillions of dollars, can be nothing but good for wages and for jobs for the American people. I think there's no question that any of the folk that were listening to this in Alabama that were wavering, maybe on the fence, maybe so turned off by the scandal surrounding Judge Moore and we're going to stay home, that these folk are going to come out and realize that this race is bigger than just one Senate race. It's about an entire agenda and direction for the country.
And the crowd seemed to lap it up when he targeted what he refers to as fake news, the villains, if you will. But the crowd sort of loves that thing. He went so far as to saying, get out there and sue ABC for their false story. He said just today CNN apologized, but they should have been apologizing over the course of the last 2 years. And, of course, the crowd seemed to love that.
They lapped it up. They lapped up the swamp, the corrupt swamp dwellers, big media. And, you know, again, I think, Greg, what he's done, and you know, we forget how entertaining this president is and how positively affirmative he is for his agenda, because he's trapped inside of Washington, D.C. He's not only fighting the Democrats on one side, he's fighting never-Trump Republicans, you know, in Congress on the other side, who are the biggest beneficiaries of this populism that the president is inspiring. But nevertheless, you know, he gets outside of Washington, D.C., goes directly to the American people, and that's when you see President Trump at his best. And the people did lap it up.
I mean, there was a lot for him to tick off. Jobs are up, 2.2 million new jobs, he said. Factories are coming back to the United States. Consumer confidence is up. Manufacturing, housing, construction, all up.
Yeah.
The stock market, he said, if you checked your 401k statement lately. So, I mean, there's a lot to brag about. Not that he deserves credit for all of it, but there was a lot there.
There's a lot, and look, he has not passed a great deal of legislation, even though he said, and I'm sure the fact checker is going to check this, that in his period of time he's actually passed or signed more bills into law than many presidents before him. I don't know if that's true or not, but what I do know is true is that what he's done in terms of deregulation is extraordinary, and it's taking the regulatory boot off of small businesses, job creators in our country, and entrepreneurs, and that is he can definitely take credit for, because that's leading to the economic growth. At least it's part of what is adding to economic growth and economic prosperity and a great deal of consumer confidence.
All right. Niger Innis, great to see you as always.
Good to see you too, Greg.
Thanks for being here.